Good morning. How's it going? Good morning, all. Good to see you. Welcome. Beautiful Friday, October 16th. A fabled day, a day of much fableness is happening right now as we're talking. Today is, today, it's here. Today, you were here. Today is the new moon. Today is the birth of a new moon. And it's not just any new moon. It's a special new moon. It is the third new moon since we started awakening the land. And I explained a while ago that the third one is a big one, because the third one is the first time that the land starts to unequivocally understand there's a pattern here. These people are doing this on purpose. And isn't it interesting, because that's exactly what we're noticing is happening around us in the world. That we're seeing things that have been happening and we're like, these people are doing this on purpose. And you and I are waking up the land, and you and I are doing it on purpose. We are both sneaky people. And it's interesting because sneaky is an interesting lesson. What do I mean by that? We're under the impression that no one would ever deceive us or lie to us and be good. That it would be impossible, that there's no way in the world that anyone could lie to you and be good. That to deceive or lie, whether it be by omission or by surprise or by anything else, is just bad. And anyone who does it is bad. And I've thought of that, and I used to believe that. I used to be, yeah, man, lies are bad, good's good. And anyone who's being nice is good, and anyone who's lying is bad, and ego's bad, and meek is good, and the lesser of two evils is obviously good. And you can live your whole life that way. I'm not even here to change that. I'm not, because when you have a certain amount of electricity, you're only going to be able to afford a certain condominium with a certain view. And that view is going to have a vista, and it's going to be based on your price point, sadly. Your price point for the amount of ego electricity you have to invest in your view. Do you see what I mean? So it's like a high rise, right? It's like a high rise. Or some of you don't like high rises because the ridiculous homeowners fees. And then there's that chick named Glenda who lives on the same floor, and my God, she takes forever in the elevator. Holy shit, right? So it didn't have to be a high rise, but it could be, right? And the amount of electricity you have is directly congruent to the kind of view you're able to render, right? Right now, you guys are rendering me with very tired eyes. I'm sorry about that. Lots of edits on the book last night. Still, book's done, but there's just proofreading. I sent it out to 3 or 4 different proofreaders, and one of them hit pay dirt and came back, and it was like this slaughterhouse, of just like Elias, like on page 2, just like, no, I used the wrong apostrophe, and it's really bad. Also, the capitalization, guys. There are so many rules about what to capitalize and what to not capitalize. It's really hard. In fact, I break some of those rules because. All right, I'm actually going to explain this. I don't know how you're going to receive this because this is difficult. But I would like for you to notice. It's hard for you to notice unless you're a writer. Actually, this might not hit anyone. If it hits you, let me know. I'd be really impressed. I would like for you to notice how many times in the English language, proofreaders, other people, I'm talking about even the Grammarly, all the software, all the proofreaders. Every single time, the usage now for English is you have to put articles before things. For example, truth. I can't say Jane's found truth. I mean, okay, I can, but I'm trying to say that when I do that, a proofreader will say, no. Jane's found the truth. You found the truth, James. And at first you're like, oh, okay, I'm sure I'll put that. And you're typing the. And then they start throwing that's at you. And it's like, no, James. You can't say, let me think of an example. Benny found pennies. No, I can't. Damn it. Okay, I'm going to be stuck out here on a fish hook looking for this example. That, just like that is used way too much in sentences. Excuse me, it's water time. Well, I'll tell people, it needs a that in there. It's like, are these the things that you were looking for? Instead of, are these the keys you were looking for? Are these the keys that you were looking for? And as you go through this, I've added up how many these and that's, and it's like 50. It's like if you count them all, it's like 50. Someone says, James, this book would make a lot more sense. It would make a lot more sense if you were to put about 30 that's in there, and if you would use the word the in front of everything. And at first, because you're just like, hey, I don't want anyone to think I'm not proofreading, I'm not editing, so yeah, we'll put this in there, Then I had to stop. I was like, this is fucked up. There are too many. If it was like 1 or 2. But it's like Slaughterhouse. It's Slaughterhouse 5 here. It's completely... Why? And it got me thinking. Got me thinking about what we were talking about yesterday. About the animism. Yeah, about the animism. Yes. Yes, do you understand? Because when we keep saying these and that's, that and this and that and that, we are objectifying, we are nouning everything. We are calling truth a noun by putting the in front of it. It's true. Saying the truth. James found truth could be a flow state, right? Truth could be a flow state, but not if we put a fucking article in front of it. Not if we put the word the or that in front of it. You automatically change it. This is called collapsing the wave, right? The probability wave is collapsed into a particle. It's Medusa. It's the pushing of Medusa. It's the installation of materialism throughout the world. And it's happening in our language so much that we have to keep taking it out. And I first learned this because a lot of the writing in this book is, not a lot, but a good bit, a couple chapters that are Native American stuff. And the Native Americans, when you hear them talking about things, I don't mean to clump them all together, but when you hear them talking about them, you can feel the animism pouring out of them. It would never be the river, it's river. It would never be the breeze, it's breeze. These are living, breathing entities. And it goes in a lot with what we're talking about yesterday with animism, remember? Where right now you're looking at a blood vessel, an artery and a vein of traffic. And it's pulling in the hemoglobin of cars, right? And the hemoglobin of cars is letting go of its oxygen and all the people inside. It's dumping them out in the factory. Then it's returning and it's picking them back up again. What does a school bus do? It drops a shitload of oxygen off of the school. Tons of it. Right? What does it do after school? It picks up a shitload of oxygen, takes it home. That's what the heart does. That's what the circulatory system does. And animism lets you see these things, doesn't it? It lets you see what you would not be able to see before. It would let you interpret what you would not be able to interpret before. That these cars are hemoglobin transporting oxygen, and the people are amino acid chains. And they're binding and they're linking and they're doing their entire business, right? They're having conference meetings. What is a conference meeting, guys? It's an amino acid chain. Bonding, right? It's a bunch of amino acids bonding together, forming a shape. I think it's called an acid, right? Amino chains join to link and they'll form either acids or bases. I'm sure it's much more complex than that, but you get the idea. We are doing this too. We are bonding with each other. One of us might be more salt, one of us might be more helium. We're looking for the connection that fits, that allows our orbit to thrive. And when we deanimate it, when we articleize this, we're taking away the essence of what it is. We're removing that living spirit from it. And we're saying, no, it's your particle. You're a set space. You're in this zone. And it's putting a mask on it. It's creating this mask on everything, where everything around you has this shellac. It has a shellac to it. Yeah. So anyway, I have not prepped for this show. I really wanted to. I definitely have things I want to talk about. This animism especially. I think we could do a whole week on this stuff. And I think to start it off, though, the articles, you got to watch your language. I would encourage you to watch your language, to watch how you're referring to things, to watch when you're using these and that's, because I think you'll find that you're doing what I'm saying. You're turning things into objects. You're nounifying stuff, and it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. If you want to unregister to vote in North Carolina, NC State Department Board of Elections, P.O. Box 27255, Raleigh, NC 27611. It's different for every state. Some states you can do it online, not North Carolina. Now, in fact, only North Carolina. To show you how I know it was smart that I unregistered to vote, I can't open this letter. I could, but I'd have to rip it. This letter is a form, and on that form is all the information that I sent them initially. I wrote them a letter myself. Why? Because they don't have the form on their website. It's our government. They don't have the form on their website. So I write them a letter, and I'm like, hi, my name's James True. I would like to unregister to vote. Here's all my information that you could possibly need or look up that you would have used for my registration written down right here, and I signed it. My signature says that I am here unregistering to vote. It was all there. And our bureaucracy is so fucking stupid, excuse my language, that all that lady or that man can do in that office, his entire training as an adult, is he will see a letter, handwritten, everything signed, all the information there, and he will still take that letter and he will waste your taxpayer dollar and he will mail out a form to send me to put the exact same information on that sheet of paper to mail it back to him. And there are people pretending that government is here to be efficient, that government is here to save us all this money by having a bureaucracy under one roof that could be run efficiently. And that's what this is. This is how much effort and calories it takes to non-consent, to unconsent from this system. I encourage all of you to do it. Before election, you will feel better. You will feel better. If you don't know my spill on this, don't tell me that I can't help. James, if I'm not voting, I'm not helping. I want to contribute. I really want to contribute to my local thing, or I really want to contribute to this or that. Guys, voting is the least you can do. The least you could do. I don't think anyone should be proud of voting. If you're getting a sticker because you went in and you checked a box and you're proud of that, you are fucking retarded. That is the least you can do. And I encourage you to be involved. I want you to be involved. I'm not here saying, oh no, the key is to be apathetic and not be involved. No, quite the opposite. The key is to unregister to vote. The key is to tell people, I am not here to consent to this system. It's not going to happen. But I'm here to participate. I'm here to fix this system. So I will involve myself, right, in the planning board. I will involve myself in town council. I ran for mayor. Some of you guys know this. I ran for mayor. I did not get elected. No. Turns out I was pretty controversial. I thought everyone here was going to love me. I really thought the whole town was going to be like, yeah, there's a dude who I would like to see mayor. Nope. Turns out when you make a joke saying that I think deer should have the right to vote, everybody gets mad. It goes right over their head. People are like, how would that even work, James? Like, how is that even going to work? I mean, deers don't even have driver's license, James. How's it? And then someone else is like, oh, so you just want the rich to vote. Is that right? And you're like, no, honey, I'm not saying that deer aren't rich. It's like, oh, no, yeah, you are. And this whole thing breaks out because it was making a joke. It's also pretty controversial. But the point is that my witness in the room, me being there, is so much more valuable than voting. It's so much more potent. In fact, your vote is an excuse to delegate, to sit down and go, hey, I did my part. I voted. And it's not working. It's not working. It gives a shit like this. It gives a shit where an adult, someone in his 40s, 50s, on a government pension, gets a handwritten letter from me that tells him all the information, my driver's license number, my voter registration number, the social security number, the last four, all of it, verbatim, exactly from the form, is right there. And he doesn't have the authority. He doesn't have the authority to look at that sheet of paper and go, oh, everything's right here. I'll just unregister him to vote right now. Then I will mail him a receipt. I will mail him a receipt. That would be fucking efficient. That would be government. In fact, if that was to happen, I would get the letter back and go, damn. Maybe I shouldn't have unregistered to vote. This is proof that I'm doing good. That this is the right call. Guys, unregistering to vote is not quitting. Unregistering the vote is getting to work. Seriously, it is getting to work. And that's why when you look around, every single organization right now is telling you to register to vote. Because they know if you give them that consent, you will delegate. They know the moment you vote, you'll be like, oh, shit, I voted. I already tried. I already did this. And you will fall into it. You will. You'll fall into it. Man, my eyes are like intense, right? And now it's making me water because I'm thinking about it. It's not helping at all. But sorry, guys. Like I said, I think I'm done with the book. And then you get these edits. And it's just like, oh, it'd take forever, which is good. It's a good polished book. It's a good book. It's a good book. None of the edits are like, this is stupid. None of them say that. Not once. In fact, a couple of people have told me, holy shit, this is good. Just I'm going to point that out. The book is coming. Pre-sales are coming. All that stuff's coming. But not until we have this ceremony this weekend. We are having ours. We might have ours tomorrow night. We may not. I don't know if it's going to work. We're going to try. We're going to do something tomorrow night. It may just be a campfire, which is fine. Next Friday, I think that if we don't have the ceremony tomorrow night, we might do two ceremonies. Definitely next Friday. I want to have a ceremony where there's one single fire. I'm really into that because if you have one fire, people know what's going on. The land knows. It's all this will come out. We'll probably have two ceremonies. We'll probably have one tomorrow night and one Friday. That's both within the new moon. And the reason why I wanted to have two is because I wanted the chance for these ashes to get to other people. I want other people to be able to have these ashes. These ashes, guys, are off the chain. Do you know what Beef sent me? From Scotland. From Scotland with a Prometheus. Thanks, Bill and Sarah. Appreciate this. Ashes from Scotland. Guys, Scotland. Right? We're going to add these to the other ashes. You are now looking at a fire that goes all the way from Walla Walla to New York to Rhinebeck to Canada. Pretty sure there's parts of this in Canada. I know our ashes have made it to Canada. I'm not sure if any ashes have made it back, but I know that some of our ashes have made it to Canada and now Scotland. Our ashes have made it to Scotland, and now these ashes have come back, which is beautiful. It's a homecoming. It's a salt homecoming. And what are our memories? They're the salt. They're the salt from this fire. They're stored in the salt. What we talked about, what we did. That's why this ceremony is so important. That's why the third new moon pulse is so important, because it's the third time you're sending that pulse, and the band's like, okay. The land's like, okay. Someone is telling me something. Why would they do this every new moon? It's like you and me. James, why would they show us Building 7? It's making us go, oh. Maybe this is why. Maybe this is why. Maybe this is why. Then you end up with the best apocalypse ever. Imagine if all the trees, if all the soil is like, hey, this is like the best apocalypse ever. You guys will be off the chain. You think squirrels are coming now? Pulling nuts out of my hand. Holy shit, just wait. Just wait till beavers are showing up, right? Just wait till like groundhogs are coming up. And they're baking like cupcakes. Yeah, instead of me giving them peanuts, they're bringing me cupcakes. Something to think about. Speaking of which, Prometheus, the fame has gotten to him. He's really into the camera stuff. I know you don't see him right now. I don't know where he is today. I saw him earlier this morning, but I missed him. I overslept, like I said. I came out. I was brushing my teeth. He was there, but the window was shut, and he looked pitiful. It was really bad. But Prometheus, he has decided to branch out into his own genre. And he's got a pretty amazing album kicking, and I think you guys should consider checking this out. It's on, I think it's on Acorn Records, I think. He's got he's doing covers now. You know, he's not doing original stuff yet. He's working on covers. And he's got a cover of Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire. And it's really amazing. Yep. It's really, really, really well done. So I encourage you guys to check out Prometheus on that. He's got some good stuff going on. Definitely good stuff. Let's see. Oh, thanks, James D. Star Sorcerer. You guys have been just keeping the lights on over here. Thank you both. I know you guys tag team, and it is definitely felt. It is definitely felt. The groundhogs are having an endless apocalypse right now. That's a good way of putting it. I know, right? Bag of dicks, Vale. It's Prometheus it's right there, you know? He's like right there, right on the cutting edge of all things. Right? It's great. So let's get those album covers in, okay? Is that going to come with a pre-sale purchase of the new book? The album, I don't know. I'll have to talk to his, Prometheus, he's pretty tight in the music industry. He's got a pretty elaborate contract. It's music industry's tough, you know? It's a tough place to be. Maybe the lion will lay with the lamb. Hey, James D. Maybe, unless maybe the lamb is supposed to transmute into the lion. Maybe. I'm open to all kinds of possibilities. I think each of us are supposed to do different things. We're supposed to do whatever works best for us. And yeah, I don't want us all to arrive on the shores of the Golden Dawn, because I don't think all of us want to be there. And I'm down with that. I used to not be down with that. I think a lot of you guys feel the same way. You used to not be down with it. Like, wait a minute, everyone has to make it. Everyone has to make it. There's I would say if anything about this whole apocalypse thing is kind of fearful or scary, it's the idea that everyone around you, through their own incompetence and evacuation, is going to cause you pain. I think if anything makes you nervous, it's truly that. Like, that's the part that makes you nervous. It's watching everyone else's evacuation affect you. Regardless of how unevacuated or evacuated you are, it's watching that affect you. And that is, that's legit. I'm not here to say that's not legit. But I want you to take a lesson from the flowers and the birds, the bees, everything. You are a reflection of where you're planted, your environment. You are a extension of that environment. And if the environment is not going to thrive, you are not going to thrive either. And I don't think that that's a sad thing. I think there's a loyalty that comes in when you pin yourself to the soil, when you unite yourself to the land, that you die with the land because you are the land. And I think where we're fooling ourselves is pretending that we're not going to die. I really think a lot of people are walking around thinking they're not going to die. And it comes out in weird ways, right? It's if you think you're not going to die and you realize deep down that this is an illusion that you're telling yourself, you will look for other threats to place in front of that aren't quite as bad to block or shield the first fear. Your fear of death is overridden now by a fear of vaccines. It's true. Your fear of death is overridden by a fear of jackboots. The jackboots is something that is, you have a better chance of surviving. Do you understand? You know deep down you're going to die. There's nothing you can do about that. And so instead of embracing that truth, instead of alchemizing that truth, you're placing another truth instead of it that maybe might not happen. It might not. You know you're going to die, but you might not be taken over by the jackboots. And that is hope. Yeah, by begging for jackboots, you are begging for hope. And that's what most of us don't see. That's the victimhood. That's what makes victimhood so deadly. That's why I dedicated an entire book to victimhood. Victim in the Hood is what it's called. And it shows you how profitable it is to be a victim. It is the most profitable thing out there. It's why so many of us do it. And I think until we fully understand how profitable it is, we're going to pretend like, no, it's terrible. It's terrible being the victim. It's only when we notice that we profit. Luckily, our self-hatred is strong enough that the moment I could show you that you're profiting by being a victimhood, that should be enough where you're like, well, I don't want to profit. I'm supposed to hate myself. I can't be out here profiting from my victimhood. That's how fucked up it is, S.A. That's how loco it is in the Joko. That's how loco it is. And we're wandering around, masochizing ourselves in front of each other in exchange for the very virtue that we spit up, the very virtue that we're like, bleh! Someone else comes and licks it up and takes it. It's hard to be gross, but it's true. That's what we're due to each other. We, meaning the pejorative we, just like the pejorative they. Meanwhile, the they isn't even real. It's not even real. There's not even like a dude in jackboots going, I'm going to give everyone a vaccine right now. It's not. It's not happening. I know that it feels that way. We look at Bill Gates. We look at all this stuff. And we're like, oh, James, it's going on. It's going on. But that's the mask of Kali, my friends. The mask of Kali. We talked about this yesterday in the dojo. Kali wears a mask of terror. It's terrifying. And that terror wakes you up. It dilates you is what it does. It opens your pupils. And you are dilated now. But when you weren't before. You weren't dilated before, now you are. Who did it? Kali. But Kali was lying to you, James. Kali was hiding behind a mask. Kali was trying to scare you. These three things aren't done by good people. No one would try and scare you, haunted house. No one would lie to you, Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, right? No one would make your life hard. Parents, but y'all, girlfriends, wives. And there you go. So who cares about you more? Someone who's nice to you? Someone who will always just tell you what it is you want to hear? Or someone who's willing to put on a mask of Kali to get you to wake up so you don't hurt yourself? Which is it? Who loves you more? You get to decide. You get to decide. If you like, no, it's time to take the nice guy. Fuck, man. No problem. I don't want no Kali shit coming up in here. I get it. I get it. I get it. We are all here to navigate our lanes, right? We are all here to pick which hemoglobin is going to take us somewhere. We're all here. You get to pick, baby. You want to get on the exit ramp? Fine, get off. You want to stay on? That's no problem, too. You want to take the train? No problem. You can choose. But the thing that you fear the most could be the very thing that's helping you the most. It could happen. And that's truly starting to understand what electricity of fear is. You are a furnace of fear. You're a furnace of fear. You're a furnace of anger. You're a furnace of apathy. You begin as a furnace of apathy. That's white belt. You don't have enough energy to have fear, do you? You can't even come up with 20% energy to make you afraid. You're just going to sit on your knees. You're just going to stay there. It's no big deal. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with those people. It is wrong to say those people are broken or they're stupid. No. These people Their ego has been destroyed. All of us, our ego has been destroyed. We've been born with zero. We've been taught through this system. And it's left most of us so suppressed that we can't even generate 20% enough to be afraid. That's most of us. That's white belt. And some of us accidentally, some of us have a girl kiss us, some of us win a championship, some of us have a moment where we slip, where we accidentally gain 21% ego. And the moment you gain that percentage, you're afraid. You can now spend the calories on fear. And so the white belt looks around and sees the wood chipper and says, it's nothing. The yellow looks and goes, that's a fucking wood chipper. Why is there a wood chipper? Why is there a wood chipper here? Hey, why is there a wood chipper here? And everyone else who's white belt's like, I don't see it. And they're not lying. They're not. They don't have the electricity for it. That's all. And what happened to you? You just got promoted with fear. Thanks a lot, right? Thanks a fucking lot. Now you have enough electricity where you can feel fear. Gee, whoop-de-doo. What am I going to do with that? Now I'm going to go around and have everyone call me crazy because I see stuff. Thank you, Andrea Fagan. Right? Everyone's going to call me crazy now because I was promoted. I got a promotion today. What happened? I'm now afraid. I'm terrified of that wood chipper out there. Well, gee, that doesn't sound like a promotion. I know, it sucks. But if I keep trying, I might have enough to be angry. Right now, I'm just afraid. But if I keep working hard, I might promote myself to anger. And the other sheeps are like, why are you going there? This sounds awful. Why are you doing that? I do not like this idea. You're broken. You're a conspiracy theorist. You just want to be afraid. You just want to be anger, right? And you keep going. You keep healing your ego. Why? Because now all of a sudden you're realizing none of these sheep fucking matter to me. And instantly you lose a shitload of electricity. And you're not afraid. You've gone from 22% down to 11% because you just dismissed all of the other sheep propping you the fuck up. And now you just lost energy. So not only did you get a promotion into fear, but once you alchemized it correctly, you lost even more fucking energy because now you're starting over. When I was a kid, I was learning how to play guitar. I was a kid. I was learning how to play guitar when I was a young man. And I was learning wrong. And the moment my teacher goes, stop, stop, I was worse. I was instantly worse for weeks because of that. But I got better. I got better, though. But I had to take that fall. I had to take that hit. And that is your sacrifice. That is your alchemical sacrifice. You're getting angry. You're getting fearful. I'm sorry. You're so fearful that's your sacrifice for elevation. You sacrificed your fear. You're now willing to accept the fear, right? It's a gift of ball. You've opened it. It's your sacrifice. I'm giving fear to this because I think something's up here. And then you're like, white sheep no longer please me. They no longer give me a sense that I'm right or a sense that I'm comfortable or a sense that I'm safe based on the majority rule, that this mob mentality no longer satisfies me. And boom, then you drop. Now you're at 11%. And now you enter the hermit. You're starting to process this stuff yourself. You're no longer listening to anything else around you. You're ignoring news now, finally. And all you can see is terror. All you can see is evil. All you can see is wrong. Because that's what fear is going to show you. That's what it's going to show you. You're going to slowly build that up. You're going to pass the threshold of fear. You're going to get back up to fear again. Oh, great, I'm happy, I'm fearful again. And you're going to keep going. I'm so fucking afraid I'm angry. And now you're in anger. Holy shit. And now you're tired all the time. Now you can't get any sleep. Now you're up all night looking at dancing Israelis. You're up watching memes of Benjamin Netanyahu with like a split Gene Simmons tongue. And you got it all figured out. You're watching Adam Green. You're like, holy shit, it's those guys. Those guys are here trying to kill us. It's them. It's those Jews or it's those Zionists. And you've heard me do this. There's nothing wrong with this. This is part of your process. Why do you think they're called the chosen people, guys? Why do you think so? Do you think they're called the chosen people? Because it's like, chosen people means you guys get pudding every day after school in the desert. No one else does, just you guys. That's not what chosen people means. And they're victimized as the golden child. This is how, because they hear the word chosen and all of us think, oh, it's because they're the chosen, they're the lucky ones. And no, they're actually not the lucky ones. They're the ones that are like, chosen guys. They're like, yep, I'm chosen. Like, bend over. Time for this dildo. And they're like, yes, Lord. They do. You want to know where the 144,000 is? It's going to be the ones that will take it the most. These are the ones that believe the zeitgeist, that believe everything. They follow, what does Revelation say? They follow the Lamb wherever he goes. But James, these are pure. These aren't. No, then why does it say in Revelation these 144,000 were purchased from mankind? How do you purchase something from mankind if it's pure? How does something with the mark of the beast, which would be required to purchase it from mankind, pure? And then you start to understand, because pure means innocent. And innocent in the Old Testament means trusting. Yes, the innocent lamb is shed. The innocent lamb is one who trusts his shepherd. Even when the shepherd's slicing his throat, the innocent lamb trusts. The 144,000 will be the ones that trust the most. 72 injections of aluminum is not enough for the 144,000. They want more. There are more viruses in their body that the Lord will eradicate. They will take those because of their devout nature, and they will be so pure. I'm not talking about the ones that complain. I'm talking about the ones that are like, yes, anal probe checks every morning, yes. Temperature checks every morning, yes. Vaccines every morning, yes. That is your 144,000. It's true. Read Revelation. The last time I said this a couple days ago, someone was like, clearly you're not reading the Revelation. And these are like direct quotes, direct from Revelation. Read the fucking book. Stop pretending that Charlton Heston is your Bible scholar. Grow the fuck up and read the book. Just read it. Because if you read it, you start to see, this is a blueprint. This is a blueprint that's been here the whole time. It's been the whole time while it's waiting for people to catch up to the blueprint. That's how brilliant this blueprint is. The Bible is a blueprint that's so advanced that it took us 5,999 years, 364 days to catch up with it, only to realize at the end day, oh shit, it's time to start over. And this is not the first Bible. This is probably the 117,000th Bible. I'm just making this up. And that I'm here to tell you that every deluge, that Bible gets better. It gets better at predicting, at sending the revelation, at putting us into the right position where we need to be in the revelation. And the only way that Bible would ever survive 6,000 years is to stick it up the ass of the most loyal Kabbalist you've ever seen. Someone that's like, please, Lord, stick that up my ass. I will transport that into the land of Zion and out again, and no one will know it's there. I will eat monatomic gold for 40 years. I will not eat anything else. I will complain about how my bowels are shut down. I will preserve this stuff. I will preserve it so much to where after 2,000 years, we will invigorate and release this scripture by making thousands and thousands of copies. This is the Coptic text. This is all the different sources, right? You've got the Q source, the A source, the B source. And we decided a long time ago that truth is whoever wrote it down the most. That's what the Bible is. It's beautiful. But the Bible had to win itself again. It had to win itself this loop around. This loop came, and the Bible said, how do I get these guys to believe me? And the answer is just make copies. Just make copies. That if you put enough of these scriptures and copies everywhere, that people will eventually assemble them and call them a holy Bible. And people are like, how do you know that? It's like, because it's written, dude. What do you mean it's written? Well, it's spoken. What do you mean? Well, we can't write this shit down. But come back to the back. If you're over 40, if you have enough money that you own at least 3 acres of land, you're over 40 years old, you can read, and you've advanced through the Jewish Torah, the scholarly school basically back then for Kabbalists. Only if you were to do all those things would you be elite enough to where you can now see the scriptures we're seeing, and we're going to collate it, and we're going to decide what's going to come out. So the very people that are keeping the Kabbalism, the oral tradition, think of the oral tradition as an Ark of the Covenant out of words, secrets. Secrets so secret they can't write them down. And this is the Mishnah delivered on Mount Sinai to Moses. The Mishnah, the oral tradition, was delivered there. And we, in our Christian pocket, pretending that we're not Islam, pretending that we're not Judaism, have no fucking idea that when you go to Shoney's, you can get a menu, or they can give you a coloring sheet with crayons. And they'll give you 3 crayons and a sheet of paper. And while your parents are looking through the menu, reading the whole thing, You're coloring a bear. And you don't have the right color yellow for the honey. You're trying to do it with yellow, and it looks like urine. And you're like, this is not right. You do not see the whole picture. You don't. And it's okay. Because that's how this whole system works. The revelation will be televised because it's the only fucking way it will get in through your head. And the only way it'll get in through your head is if you have this back door, if you have this system in place. Religion. You are a lotus flower. The pain and trauma you see all around you is the blossom. Poof, is the bursting open. And you want this pain. We want this vitriol. We want these growing pains. And that's what makes it the best apocalypse ever. This is not the first apocalypse. Vitriol. I freaking love it, Nate. Vitriol. There you go, Vatsock. Remember, James says, ask who wouldn't lie to you, not who would. And let's rethink lies. I can't wait till you guys read this chapter on lies. I can't wait till you guys to read it. I should get off the show so I can finish the edits. We don't even understand lies right. In fact, our aversion to lies, all our aversion to lies does is make it harder for us to admit to ourselves that we're lying. And that me, James True, the person that has the fucking name True, had to be the one that came out to say, hey, maybe lies aren't so bad, which took me forever to say that. Do you know how hard that was for me to say? Because I'm always walking around going, yeah, man, I'm the most authentic motherfucker in the world. Boom, I'm authentic. I got some authentic music and all that stuff. And it hit me like a board to the fucking face. Boom. Dude, what if the reason why there's so many lies is because reality needs it? That if you're going to have a free will, and I'm going to have a free will, and you're going to have an aperture, I'm going to have an aperture, the only way that a billion different apertures could be living in the same world is if that world had enough matrix glue, enough stretchy stuff, enough silly putty to allow it to stretch so far where Woodwoes can believe in the Druid, Sammy can believe in the pyramid, James can believe in the whore of Babylon. It's all these different things are so far away from each other, not to put any beliefs in anyone's eyes, but all these beliefs are so far away from each other. How do you keep them connected? How do you give a world where you can believe all these things and them still be real? And the only way that would possibly happen is if you didn't know everything. Is if you lived in a world where just like a computer can only render so much of a 3D scene because it only has so much processing power, right? Try and render World of Warcraft the entire online land. You can't. You can run a map of it, you can do amalgamations of it, but you can't render the whole thing in real time. You don't have enough computer power for that. You don't have enough processing power. Now do the same thing with lies, with truth. That there's an offloaded computer that exists in your fantasy world. It's your personal computer. And because it's personal, it doesn't have to remember all the other shit everyone else has. It only has to remember what you're saying. And so all it has to do is just say, well, yeah, everything James thinks could be a lie. You don't know. And everything that all these other people think could be a lie too. You don't know. And now, boom, you magically have this matrix. You have this system where everything fits. Everything fits. In fact, the only things that have to have a conflict is when two people disagree about a lie. And that is a synapse, isn't it? That's an electrical synapse. This is true. No, this is true. No, this is true. There could be only one. And that's the quickening, right? Quickening. I have the power. I have the power. I have the power. And then you end up with Zionism. This is it. It's quickening. The reality is attacking itself because only one can be right because both people have done what? They've collapsed the fucking wave. They've turned it into a particle. They've removed the mystery. They've raped that mystery like a bitch. They raped her. Took all the abyss from her. Just pulled it right off. Sorry. You've been collapsed now. You're a particle. And that makes them feel good. They've accomplished something because they've rendered truth. Render is such a powerful world here, but you might not get just how powerful it is because when you render a 3D scene, you build it with 3D shapes. Like you're like a building, that's a rectangle, or a square, or a box, I should say, sorry, a polygon. This is a building, this is a building, this is a river, it's a running animation of a flat plane, looks like a river. The tree is a spine node, it's like a procedural node that runs the branches, all this stuff. You build your world, you got it all built, but you haven't lit it yet. You haven't rendered it yet. You haven't captured the shadows of it yet. That takes time. In fact, that takes most of the computer's work, believe it or not, is casting light into this world, imbuing it with light. That before light, you built all these things, but you can't see them. You can't see them until you pour the light in and you render it. And that takes a whole other huge computer, much bigger. And that's what's happening with our reality, that when we decide what's true, we're rendering that part out. We're rendering that little portion out, that little node connecting me and you. We've now both rendered because we've decided one of us was wrong maybe, or that both of us were wrong maybe, or whatever it is. We've amalgamated to a new truth, and we've connected. We built a freaking erector set between me and that person now. We have an erector set that's firm. And when it breaks, either one of us get mad. We get violent out of it. We do. But that's an erector set. It's a stable bridge that connects us two together. And as the world gets more information, right? As omniscience increases, omniscience is the ability to know everything. As omniscience increases, as we learn more and more and more, we're building more and more connectors. We're building more and more bridges. And what does that do? It takes our core and freezes it. We don't know it, but it freezes it over time. Because I made a deal with James D. where this is true, and I made a deal with Samuel where this is true, and I made a deal with Sarah that this is true, and this is true, and this is true, and all these different vectors are now true, and I no longer can move around. I am fucking stuck. I'm stuck because of these truths that I've resolved with everyone else. And that stuck, that congealing, is why we have an apocalypse. That's why we have to come in and reset the entire fucking world. Someone has to walk in and go, we got to cut all these strings, bitches. All of them. We have to cut them all. And the best way to cut them all is with a corona burst. It is. Because the only way you could store that much information, I'm talking about information where it's starting to make you stick in the matrix. The only way you could store that much information is if you had computers at your disposal. It would be the only way. That your mind is not capable of that. An abacus is not capable of this. You would need a computer. And that the person who wrote this place, Dojo Earth, the person who wrote this place knew that computers are going to come magnetic or light. Yes, our first computers were magnetic, and now our computers are light. Every single bit of data that you see, think, touch, feel, or see comes from light inside your computer. A thin slice of crystal semiconductor, silicon, is pulled out of the oven. It's sliced like the thinnest piece of bread. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's this cinnamon red color. It's gleaming off the sun. And that sheet, that matrix... That matrix has a screen on it. And it works like this. A. And then... Is this thing on? My battery's dead. Yeah. So, A, and then it hits the light. Right? It hits the light. And then... After it, sorry, I was going to show you an example of light. The A hits it, and that light stores everything that's not A inside the silicon. Everything that's not A is now stored inside the silicon. And then you take another square, another piece. Oh shit, this is going to look really sacrilegious. I did not mean that to be sacrilegious. This is a Greek thing, so don't freak out. But then you take another piece, and you place a piece of glass over it, and you're burning it with light. And now the light's going to be there everywhere except for the omega. And now every single piece of data from alpha to omega is stored somewhere in the world, right? In the hard drive world, in silicon, in light. Light or magnetics. Every single fucking thing in the computer world is stored that way. Drum roll, please. That means there's only one thing you have to do to reset all of advanced technology. There's only one thing, guys. There's only one thing. You need one button that you can push. You can't see button. One button that you can push that will reset this whole world. And that's called an EMP. An electromagnetic pulse would destroy all the magnetic data you stored, and it would store all the light information you stored too. That crystal semiconductor would be reset. It would be burned clean Burned in the fire, cleansed in the fire. Do you guys know how they say the last deluge was water and this deluge is fire? Can you hear what the temple rock is cooking? Are your gears moving like they should be? Because that's all it takes, which means this entire system, from the very beginning, from day one, always had an emergency switch. Always. And it was an EMP. The entire time, God had an EMP, an easy button, an EMP button. And every 6,000 years, he can hit that button with the corona. And when he hits that, every single piece of high technology dies. And that is the language of Babel. Binary. Babel. What happened in the Tower of Babel? They built this tower. Everyone was talking in the same language, the digital language. And something happened. A great cataclysm happened and everyone forgot. No one could speak to each other anymore. I sound like Barack Obama. No one could speak to each other anymore. And they scattered throughout the land. And that is an EMP. It's a fucking EMP. That's all it would take. Because now all the workers that came to the UAE, where the Tower of Babel was built, in my opinion, just a minute. They're from America. They're from Russia. They're from China. They're from Japan. But they're all talking thanks to Google Translate. They're all talking with the digital language. The digital language is helping their communications work. It's helping their cranes work. Their shipping department works. Everything works from those computers. And that EMP fucking kills it all. And it kills it all in such a way where we do not have the ability to rebuild it. Why? Because the infrastructure completely falls apart. And the people that are computer programmers can only be computer programmers if the people that make computer monitors are there. And they can only be there if the people that make the rice to feed them are there. And the whole system is built on the backs of each other. And now you understand why the apocalypse is so necessary. That this isn't about, oh, these people suck, we need to destroy them. That's not what was happening at all. That what was happening was that we were doing exactly what we were supposed to do. We were becoming omniscient. And you and I could set up a sand frame for ants. And these ants could build their entire network all through that place and build their entire home. And there would be a time where they would finish. It would be done. And those ants would get bored. They'd start to masturbate. They'd start to do drugs. They'd start to wear corn shirts, right? And they'd wander around school telling each other, my gender is very dysphoric. And you end up eating yourself alive because there's nothing else to do. Josh talks about this all the time. OKC does too. People do not have enough hobbies. And so the whole reset's right there. It's all laid out. It's all laid out. And we have our Kali masks. Vatsak, who is Rothschild but an Elite, the perfect bad guy, the one we love to hate. It's the perfect plot, exactly. Who is Bill Gates, the perfect Kali? These people are behind Kali masks. And their fear, their dilation of you, is waking you the fuck up. And that's good. That's good. You're like, oh, but I'm nervous. Someone should make me nervous. Anyone makes you nervous is a bad guy, and you're fucking wrong. You're wrong because Babylon's telling you how to flatline this whole time. Flatline. We talked about this in Dojo yesterday. You don't resist Babylon by torturing yourself and denying yourself every luxury. You resist Babylon by resisting your flatline. Babylon's going to flatline you because it knows wherever you are, if it can flatline you, you will freak the fuck out at just the slightest blip. Yep. That before Babylon, you're like, I'm in a loincloth, I fucking public, I'm in daylight, I hunt with my teeth, boom. It's a very dilated world. And as we civilize, our dilation amalgamates. And what happens? We fucking flatline. And you can flatline way up here. You could be the richest person in the world and flatline. You could be the poorest person in the world and flatline. And both those are Babylon. You could be rich in Babylon. You could be poor in Babylon. You're in Babylon when you're flatlining. You're in Babylon when you're rejecting the change. That's what it is. And look outside. Outside is not Babylon. And what does outside do? It's day. It's night now. It's day. It's night. It's day. It's night. It's raining. It's not raining. It's really dry. Holy fuck, it's really dry. Holy shit, it's raining like hell. It's winter now. It's hot. It's summer as fuck. It's winter as fuck. Nature, Gaia, is always saying, be alive. Be alive, baby. Feel that some way. Babylon's always saying, no, we can get a nice, easy flat line here, baby. We'll get you an elevated pool. One of those pools that, endless pools. Will be all set, baby. You just hang out there all the time, eating bonbons on a raft. And you're thinking, oh, that sounds good, until you've had 1,000 bonbons. And you just want to kill yourself. You're just dying. You're dying not because of the bonbons. You're dying because you flatlined. You flatlined on bonbons. And isn't that a beautiful lesson that God's teaching you? He's teaching you. You can flatline on bonbons. And you're like, no, God, it can't happen. It's like, yes, it can. You're like, God, I don't believe you. And you're like, then go ahead. Have some bonbons. And you're like, really? He's like, yeah, go ahead. Like, you're not going to fuck with me, right, God? Of course not. Why would I do that? Go ahead. Have some bonbons. And so now instead of Prometheus, you've got people like Owen. They're like, should I have a bonbon? We should have bonbons. Not torches, but bonbons are good. And you end up with this whole fucked up idea that the worst thing that can happen to you in life is you could die. And that's the illusion, isn't it? Because you've been guaranteed that. Do you know why God made it easier for you? God did you a favor because the very, very, very first thing he taught you is you're going to die. He didn't lead you on, did he? He didn't make you promises. He didn't extend your faith through salvation usury, did he? Which it sounds familiar, right? Hey, I will gladly give you salvation on Tuesday for some obedience today. It's funny how God doesn't do that with death. You would think if he was going to do that with anything, it would be with death, but he doesn't. Because he wanted you to know right away, you fucker are going to die. He didn't use the word fucker. That was me. Dramatic license. I'm a writer. It's what I do. But you are going to die. He wanted you to know that right away. Because he didn't want that to be your motivator. He wanted you to find that salt, baby. He wanted you to find that other thing that keeps you motivated, that keeps you moving. Man, my eyes are stinging. Hey, let's do some grievance. Yesterday, shit, what was I talking about? I just saw a text that just kind of really threw me off there. Grievance. Oh yeah, yesterday. Give me your grievance, guys. Tell me your grievance. Tell me your grievance. Give me your grievance. Looking for grievance here. Looking for grievance. This stream was fire. Thanks, Guy Bear. I almost didn't do a stream today. I was like, I overslept. I didn't have anything prepared. I mean, I definitely have a lot to talk about. But anyway, so I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Thank you much for that. Yesterday, someone had a grievance. I forgot his name. I'm sorry. And he's actually a patron too. So fuck me for not remembering your name. But someone had a grievance yesterday. And his grievance was, James, you don't you don't air all the grievances, that you're missing my grievance. You keep skipping my grievance. And then I asked him, well, you should have told me what your grievance was. And he finally said, I gave you super chat and you didn't acknowledge. That's the best grievance I've heard. I get super chats and I do not acknowledge them all. I'm sorry about that. I get into what I'm saying. I get into it and I don't look at the chat. And I don't do that because sometimes when I look at the chat, it's like, so this girl that you really like, she's having sex with another man right now, right? I bet that feels shitty. Like, that's the kind of stuff I see. And it doesn't always make for good TV. And so I do not watch the chat. I'm not watching the chat to then tell you guys in a live stream what the chat said. I don't know if you noticed that or not. But other people do that for show. Nothing wrong with it. It's great. But I'm trying to bring something to chat. And so because of that, I'm not always here watching exactly when things come through. But I really appreciate it. I really do. It's awesome. It's awesome. But if you feel bad for giving me a chat because I didn't acknowledge it, I don't think you should give me a chat. I think there are other ways that you can help. The chat should be your way of kind of talking to the chat group itself too. Even if I don't hear it, I hope that you at least get joy that you're talking to other people in the chat. I hope that helps. Wearing a mask, compliance to the mandate, lockdown equals self-castration. Very good point. It is self-castration. My grievance is that you never seem to notice my grievance. Stream Childs, that's exactly what I said. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's exactly the thing. The grievance is I don't recognize. And I'm sorry. I've just recognized your grievance. So now you have a bigger grievance because you're like, James, my grievance is that when I gave you a grievance that you didn't recognize my grievance, you fucking recognized my grievance. And that's a big grievance. So I'm not helping you. There's not a thing that I'm doing that's helping. Sorry about that, dreamy dudes. Appreciate you, though. And I don't think that you were the one that was actually saying that. So this is even funnier. This hour went too fast. Thank you, Analog Bear. That's a great thing to hear. Grievance, back to 14.9 subs. Not bad, but not good. Hugh, I think it's always been there. I think that maybe on certain phones, maybe it rounds it up to 15. But I've been at 14 for a while. Thanks, Owen. Appreciate it. But we're getting there. I need quality, not quantity. And I'm liking the quality we got here. It's great. Grievance, took a whole week off to be with the tribe next week. It was told our company wants mandatory flu shots. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Man, Mel, that's not going to happen. We'll have to work on that. Maybe open the D Live chest, James. That's a great. The Yeti. I love how the Yeti's like not even like that's a grievance. He's like, he could have said, I have grievance. You didn't open the chest. And no, he didn't say that. He's like, hey, I got an idea. Maybe you could open the chest. And I'm doing that right now. The chest is opening. I'm distributing my chest rewards in 28 seconds. Prepare for my chesticles. I have the chestiest chest around, and I'm giving it to you. There you go. How's that? There is a what do you call it? There is a dojo today. Dojo number 33. How can you miss Dojo 33, guys? How can you miss Dojo 33, right? Thank you, Analog Bear 66.6. Good morning, Guy Bear. Haven't said hi to you yet today. Just wanted to. Yeah. Great dojo today. I recommend you coming. If you're not a member of the dojo, you can join at jtrue.com. You can click on dojo. You'll see it there. You can join for the year, save a lot of money. It's like $8 a month. It's like a colossally awesome therapy session with group people, not even me. And for $9 a month, you cannot get a better deal than this. Or if you want to try it monthly, because $9 a month is too much, go to patreon.com, become a $19 tribe member. You can try it for a month and see. It's a great crowd. A lot of us are hooking up outside of this. People are actually running their own dojos now without me. They don't even invite me. They're like, let's not bring James in on this. And that's great because I think that I'm not like always that fun to have in a chat, you know. This is better. Electric Sheep. I'm going to read this. I haven't read this yet. I hope it's not insulting. The truly wise, knowing the nature of the universe, use law against laws, the higher against the lower, and by the art of alchemy. Okay, that's clean. Nice job, Electric Sheep. Woodwose was the winner. Well, good. He deserves it. That dude's always helping out. Guys, let's wrap it up. Let's call it a show. I'm going to do some edits before dojo starts, and then big weekend. Have a lot to prep for with the ceremonies coming up, and looking forward to it. I got one question, James. How the hell do you know so much? LOL. You're very educated on everything. I'm not. That's why I prep for a show. I only talk about things that I know, and that's why it looks like, hey, he really knows a lot. It's only because I only choose to talk about things I don't know. I don't know if you guys notice this, but I say I don't know all the time. It's like a really powerful mantra I have. It's like, I don't know. Someone will tell me something. I'll be like, I don't know. Someone will say, hey, have you heard about this? And I'll be like, no, I haven't. And it's like beautiful. It's the most liberating thing you could ever have, is to suddenly just say you don't know. I talk about this in the book. Ignorance is a beautiful word. We treat that word like shit, though. We treat it so bad. And because of that, we're not allowed to embrace ignorance in public. We're taught that, well, ignorance means I'm bad. So it's all part of this. Unrock the vote, tribe. Exactly. Unrock the vote. Guys, seriously, unregister to vote. You'll feel better. I promise you. And every time you're watching it, you can be like, I actually took the time to unregister. I told those fuckers I do not consent. I took the time to do that. You could do that. I think you'll find it a much more empowering thing to try. Alchemy. Yeah, alchemy. Let's close this baby out. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you being so patient with me this week with the book. Please start a fire this weekend if you can. Find a way to start a fire. You don't need our ashes to do it. You can start a fire. You send those ashes to us. We will combine them with ours, and I will send you back some ashes. Brent Scheineman, BrentScheneman @gmail.com. Dojo members, tribe members, definitely hook up with Brent. We scored a lakeside campsite this weekend. We only have room for 30. I'm talking about next weekend at Flattoberfest. Yes. It's going to be off the hook. I cannot wait. We'll do our own ceremony there. So think about it. Lakeside camping, which means big fire pit. It means no masks. It means our own private fire ceremony. And we've got that for Friday night and Saturday night. So please come. In fact, a little bit into Sunday day, maybe. Please come. I think we'll be doing some other talks outside of Flattoberfest. It'll be great. Contact Brent Scheineman for that. BrentScheneman @gmail.com. We also have our full moon, Halloween, blue moon, and Taurus fire coming up on Halloween. Really looking forward to that. Love you guys. Remember the Alamo. And hope to see you in the dojo. And don't let the dojo hit you on the way. Hit you where God split you. In the knit you. In the kit you. And yeah. That's a terrible, terrible way to say goodbye.
remind yourself this will not work if we are miles apart. Wake up alone, your fans are closed. Reach for something that you're not. Oh, you need to calm down, honey. You need to calm down, honey. You need to calm down, honey. You need to calm down, 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 I know how you feel up in there. You'll get there, I know you would. I know that you don't like your hair, but I think it's beautiful. We just need to calm down.